Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. I think politicians are rational. I don't buy this theory that we're all smarter than them because we don't run for election here. I don't buy that theory we're smarter than politicians. I never did. Mm-hmm. You're a politician, you're a Republican, you got a district that's 95% Anglo, or 90% white, if you will. And you go home to them in the meetings you have to go to, the town meetings, and you face the big question. Why did you vote for immigration reform? That's a good question. Well, and what's your answer if you're a Republican?
The answer is you get the head of the local chamber of commerce right there with you, and you say, immigrants provide a lot of the entrepreneurship in this country. They are good workers. What else are we going to do with the 11 million who are here? We've bolstered the border.
No, that's not an issue with Republicans. They don't care. The big question the Republican audience wants to know, Miss Smith, or whatever your name is, or Mrs. Smith, will this stop illegal immigration? Yes or no?
Well, they can
what
say
will your
yes.
answer be?
They can say yes because of the 30 billion on.
You believe it'll stop illegal? You think it'll stop illegal immigration?
There's already very little of it right now. If you look at the
statistics. Well, that's the economy.
Well, that is the economy.
I think Republicans don't like illegal immigration. They don't like it.
They don't like it.
And they want to hear a bill that's going to work.
And they don't like it. And what they remember is what was promised in 1986 that didn't happen under Reagan.
It didn't work. They were promised before.
And they were promised before. And they don't want to go to that road again, which is why they're saying
Charlie Brown
we want the lock on the fence to be secured before we give you anything else.
Okay, how long are they keep 30,000 guys on the border down there? How many years?
As long as Republicans have anything to say about what goes on in Washington.
You don't want them to do it. So why should they trust you? See, Democrats don't really believe in border enforcement, do they? Do they?
I don't know about other Democrats.
Do Democrats care about border enforcement?
Leadership understands.
Do they believe in border enforcement?
A lot less than Republicans.
Less than Republicans, but enough
so
they're willing to put up $30 billion.
Why do they believe in illegal immigration, Democrats?
Because right now it's not even that big of a problem.
Why do they believe in it?
Well, I'm not going to defend.
Yes, you are. You're basically admitting. Do you think Republicans are? Do you think Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic Party is concerned about illegal immigration?
Mildly.
You are covering. Let's go to the facts here. Republicans in the House are facing very little pressure from Hispanic voters, and here's why. Studies by the Cook Political Report, which is nonpartisan, and the New York Times found that, quote, thanks in part to their own quarantining efforts, that's what Republicans do to put Hispanics and African Americans in the same districts, only 24 out of 234 House Republicans are in districts where Latinos make up more than 25%. And most of those 24 districts are in deeply red parts of the country. Anyway, the share of the Latino vote is between 0 and 10% in 142 Republican districts. 0 and 10%, 140, a majority of them. And the average GOP district is 75% white compared to just 51% white in the Democrats. Put simply, as the country continues to get more racially diverse, ethnically diverse, Republican districts have gotten proportionally whiter. John Alder, I'm asking you, why should they vote against their own political interests?
Well, because they have to think about their party also. And they don't want to. They shouldn't become a remnant party the way they are in Europe. They want to be a
sacrifice themselves politically at home.
The basic point that Karl Rove made, the basic point that Karl Rove made, which was an excellent point, was that to win with white votes, a Republican candidate in a presidential election would have to carry the white vote by the same margin as Ronald. Can I just finish the point? The same margin as Ronald Reagan won when he carried 49 states. Which nominee can get that kind of margin?
Let me ask you both a question.
None of them.
Will a majority of House Republicans vote for a pathway to legalization to full citizenship?
No.
No. But with Democratic votes, they get a bill through.
Well, how are they going to get a vote?
Well, because John Boehner has to walk his way back from the so-called Hastert rule that says you have to have a majority of the majority.
Did you hear that from John Alder?
Yes.
John Boehner, get your act together. John Alder says you got to do this.
They're slitting their throats long term.
Well, then you do think
it's going to happen. And that's the play, Chris, longer term.
Okay, I don't think it's going to happen. Anyway, thank you, Michael Steele, and thank you, John Alder, because I don't believe they believe the Democrats want to stop illegal immigration. So why should they join their team? And